This morning, we're going on a unique journey that highlights resiliency from lessons learned in a fall or two or several. Also, how stepping outside her comfort zone has led her to some unexpected places. Giving her icebreaker speech titled Perfection in Falling, let's welcome Toastmaster Karen Schwarz.
If I could have everybody put their hands, both arms, over their head. Now shrug your shoulders 3 times. Okay, you can put your hands down now. That movement was called a block. In gymnastics, that's one of the most pivotal movements in the entire sport. It produces explosive movement that you see in the Olympics, from Simone Biles to Rebecca Andrade, Sonia Salee. Now, if you can imagine doing this countless times in a 4-hour session, 100,000 times over your career, this is the commitment and dedication it takes to be a competitive gymnast. Growing up, I was a competitive gymnast for about 8 years. I loved it. It was my life. It was what got me out of bed in the morning, what I did after school. It was the rush and exhilaration of sticking that skill for the first time after countless hours of practice and falls. Lots of falls. It was a chase of success and the pursuit of perfection. There's really nothing like it. Everything was going well. It's getting the trophies, a participation ribbon or 2, until about junior high. I was finally getting a choreographer to help me with my floor routine. She asked me to do a simple tumbling pass I'd been doing for years. I paused in the middle. I thought it was nerves, until unfortunately, it turned into a debilitating mental block that stopped me from tumbling backwards. For any competitive gymnast, this is a worst case scenario. I did everything to try and retrain the skill. I went to a sports therapist, I put in the time with extra sessions, and lots of visualization. After about 2 years of ups and downs, I decided it was time to let go of the sport I loved and the only life that I knew. Now we're gonna fast forward about 10 years later. We're gonna go on a little bit of a different journey. I had just graduated college, and I wasn't quite ready for a real job, a big girl job. I jumped at the opportunity to work on cruise ships with Royal Caribbean as a youth counselor. I was so excited. I can remember my day joining the ship, Legend of the Seas, like it was yesterday. The ship was huge. It was the largest thing I'd ever seen on the sea. And then I walked into my room. It was the tiniest thing I've ever seen. Maybe about 4 tables, maybe 5, that I was sharing with one other person. I'd also never been so lost in my life, walking around the white, windowless, winding crew corridors. Ooh, so lost. I was excited to meet new people, go to a different place just about every day, and work with kids that keep you on your toes. I was meeting new people, going to the crew bar, learning bachata and salsa until 2 a.m. My social life was thriving. My work life, not so much. It's kind of tanking. I had my 30-day evaluation with my manager. I was not expecting gold stars. I was expecting, somewhere in the middle, not the greatest, but you can always get better. She told me I had 30 days. 30 days to get better, or I would face termination. My 23-year-old self just landed on her butt. Not too proud of my performance, but I decided this is what I wanted to do. I love this life. So I put my effort into everything. I learned the ship SOPs, I learned the kids club standard operating procedures. And I put on my big girl pants. It was time. Thankfully, after a lot of work and effort, I was still there and spent about 3 years traveling the world and learning lots of lessons. That is a completely different speech. But after cruise ships, I went to work at Marriott, Grand Vista, right on iDrive. I had a manager that I had worked with on ships, and she was kind enough to want me to come down and work for them. And that was how I made it here to Toastmasters, with a little more bumps and turns and twists in the road. But from balance beam to work and friendships, I failed at a lot, and I've only grown. Sometimes I need to remind myself of the fearless girl who stepped onto that ship, facing the unknown. Wobbles and falls in life are inevitable. What matters is how you get up, and knowing that eventually you'll get it right and land where your strengths lie. I'm excited to continue to fail and define the next chapter of my life. Thank you.